Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome to, I think, my first audio only podcast here on the channel. And going forward, maybe we'll do a few more of them. So sitting down with a very familiar team in the Cardano space today. It's great to finally be able to talk to them, get to know more about the project and what is to come. It is the Ape Society, and I've got the three founding members on with me here today. So guys, very welcome to the channel. It's great to have you here, and thanks very much for your time. I suppose if we go around first and get a quick introduction to who you guys are, and then we'll get into the project and everything then. So if we start, Matasa, you're beside me on the screen, and we'll work our way around then.
Yeah, nice to be here, man. Yeah, thanks for the invite. So my name is Matasa. I come from a finance background, and that's my role sort of like in AF1 and the Ape Society. I deal with all the financials, all the numbers, such as like the tokenomics, the design of the mechanism of the ecosystem. That's me.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have some questions for you around the tokenomics and how you guys were really able to do things different to other projects. But Cardman, you're up next.
Hey, thanks for having us. My name's Cardman. I kind of work on a lot of the creative and originally the dev side before we added CTO very recently, Avatar Nick. And so I work to kind of push a lot of our art direction and our kind of broad ideas in that sense.
Great. Avatar Nick was a great addition to the team too. I seen that announced a while ago. Congo, you're up.
GM Paul, really happy to be here. Big fan of your show. I'm Congo. My background is really in entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur since pretty much my entire adult life, as well as teaching entrepreneurship at a few of the top universities in the world, focused on Web 2. Been in Web 3 since 2012, and this has been a wild journey. So yeah, I'm excited to share it with you.
Yeah, I suppose let's jump into the Ape Society then. I'll let you guys decide who kicks us off, but there's a lot there. But on a high level, what is the Ape Society? And then we'll get into some of the individual components of it, and then maybe where we are now and what's to come in the next 12 months. But starting off high level, what is the Ape Society for people who haven't heard of it before? I'll let you guys decide who takes that question.
I feel like Cardman will give the best intro. Not gonna lie.
Sure. All right. So I guess for those that don't know, about a year and a half ago, we launched the Ape Society. We've been working on it for almost 2 years together. And essentially what it is at the most basic form is 7,000 collectible NFTs that form a community and kind of are just building to create something great on chain. And we have Ape Force One, which is the three of us. We have the TAS team, and then we have the DAO, which is the community-run organization that makes a lot of decisions and has a couple 100,000 ADA under their control, as well as a ton of society token to kind of work together to build stuff. As a whole, where we have our collection is kind of split up into 7 classes, and that was one of the most interesting things at first about our collection. We have craftsmen, artists, military officers, all the way up to nobles. And what that did is create like a unique rarity schema within our collection, which made it so that, you know, people got really excited to be at different levels in the ranks and kind of identify with their ape. And we took it further from there to give different utilities to each of the different classes as we grew. So for example, in our frame and staking system, the higher class you have, the more tokens you get. And we kind of expanded that through our whole ecosystem. And without going too much depth, like it expands to our cabin ecosystem, it expands to our passports, which we launched recently, and our upcoming landmarks. So we're just kind of trying to create the best possible experience on chain, whether it's from the tokenomics aspects, whether it's from DeFi tools we're doing, whether it's the quality of the art and the attention to detail we have there. And we're just trying to create a first-class experience for like-minded people to grow together and build together.
Nice. I think that's a good intro for anyone new to it. And one thing you do notice is the PFPs, the artwork that you have is very different than we do see Ape, I suppose, projects across, even on Cardano. There was a few different ones, but yours really does stand out for the artwork is very different to traditionally what we've seen from other projects. And when the project started, was it meant to be this monster that it is with so many different individual components, or was it just an NFT project and it kind of grew from there?
Yes, absolutely. This is essentially vision coming to reality, right? We wanted to surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, like Cardman was saying, and the three of us are very entrepreneurial, and that has really kind of had a trickle-down effect into the community with all these community initiatives and projects spouting out from the Ape Society. So yeah, absolutely. We're really grateful, and we don't want to sound cocky when we said we thought it'd get this big, but this is what we were working towards.
Okay, great to hear. And like, we're going to get into the individual aspects of the project now, but we see a lot of projects try and launch, and inevitably, like outside of crypto, a lot of startup businesses, the percentage of failure rates is very high. What do you think has been the real key for your project kicking off and being as successful as it is?
I think the biggest thing there is how engaged we are in the community and how much we listen to people. We're in there every day. Congo's like level 1,000 on our Discord. Matasa's in there a ton. I'm in there a good amount. And we're just like every day listening to the pulse and figuring how we can grow from there rather than just releasing stuff and leaving. And we have, like, you know, we don't limit ourselves as well into just being an NFT project. We think we can do anything with our community on chain, and regardless of how the market is going, we just continue to push and put out new ideas and try to be creative.
On top of that, I think like a big difference that I noticed, and I didn't notice at the start, is that the three of us really live the being the Ape Force One or being the Ape Society. It's just not our work, and we've been blessed for like the three of us having very distinctive skill sets. We are the three very different but all the same sort of way. So we're very entrepreneurial, like Congo said, very focused in our goals, and I guess that all combined, it's just sets aside from the 99% of other founders. But yeah, I mean, living, it's bad, but like we really spend a lot of time around, and with the community between the three of us, we talk a lot, and yeah, I guess that really helped us.
Yeah, the synergy of this team, the three of us, is like something I've never personally experienced. It's something special. I've been a part of multiple teams in Web 2 and outside of Web 2 as well, like in IRL. And I don't know, there's something special here. When you start a startup, you have to have an obsessive mindset, and all three of us have that mindset. And now we have Avatar Nick, as you know, and he also has that mindset. So it's very dangerous for any competitors, if you will, out there. But yeah, it's an obsession. This is what we love. This is our passion, right? And you can't really teach that to somebody. It's just, you're born with it.
Yeah, I think looking from the outside, it's infectious to your community when they see how much you believe in the project and how active you are. Like, lots of founders will talk about, oh yeah, it's a great project and we're going to do this and that. But when people come into Discord or go into Twitter, and a lot of Cardano Twitter spaces they go on to, there's a good chance you're going to see Congo or someone from the Ape Society in there talking about not just trying to shill your own project, which is something that I liked, especially in recent times when I tuned into different spaces, when there's different questions about Cardano and different things that are ongoing, and you're out there asking some of the harder questions of some of the bigger entities and even other projects, asking like important questions and not just out there trying to shill the Ape Society or telling people they need to get into yours. So I really like that aspect, and I think there's lots of other people out there that will have got a good opinion of the project from that stance too. I suppose if we get into some of the individual components on it, the So you mentioned you have the 7,000 NFTs was the original collection. Then there was the cabins were next, were they? So where do the cabins fit into it, or will there be more on this? I see people asking when they can customize the cabins themselves, or what are they and what's coming for them, I suppose.
Yeah, so cabins were our second collection, and that's what opened up the possibility of apes getting into the ecosystem. That's the link between the landmarks we were talking about and the apes, right? So the first stage, it was to unlock staking, but right now it's the whole city, right? Where you can do way more than just staking. You can craft merch. You can you can steal merch. You can the craftsman can build stuff, build furniture for the interactive cabins. So it opens up doors to the whole ecosystem. And the link to the landmarks is that so we have 35 districts, 10,000 cabins fit into those 35 districts, and 11 of them are where the landmarks are placed in. So cabins around those landmarks will benefit from a share of the revenue of those landmarks, right? We have the levy coming up, for just an example, and 30% of the fees in levy will go to the cabins within that district. So you will need, the cabins to do that. And also a very, very good thing about the cabins is that the staking, it's just not for apes. So we felt like, for us to grow, Cardano needs to grow. So we opened doors to all the collections that wanted to stake into the cabins, and people would earn society that way. And that was through frames. You have to mint a frame and stake your any NFT, Cardano NFT, in there, and you would be earning society. So I guess cabins are kind of like the link between apes and landmarks, and I guess the whole Cardano actually.
That's interesting. I might even do an overlay on this after of showing the map and showing the different districts for people who are on YouTube and not just on the audio side, because it's interesting to see the landmarks laid out in the different districts. And I didn't realize that the individual cabins will earn revenue from the landmarks. And just on the frames, can you talk a bit about them? So if I hold an ape, can I stake that, or do I have to have, I think I have to have a frame as well, don't I? And is that the same for other NFT projects that are staking to earn society?
Yes. So the frames actually unlock you the possibility of staking, right? Just by having the ape or the NFT, you can't stake. You need to stake. We like to call it a frame to earn instead of stake to earn, because you need to buy the frame in order to start staking. That's the process of staking. And then if you have a frame, sorry for that. If you have a frame, you can then upgrade that frame, so you unlock even more benefits. Especially if you have an ape, it unlocks you more, it enhances your the class of your ape, right? If you have an artist, for example, if you level up your ape, it crafts merch faster. So there's a whole mechanic there too. But if you have a non-ape, it earns you more society. So the multiplier to earn society increases by leveling up the frame. So if you want to stake either apes or non-apes, you would need to buy the frame.
Okay, and they're all bought with the Society Token, which is the token of the project, is it?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's good to see some utility for the token. And from what I've seen, the token gets burned then when people are upgrading their frames. So let me know, I suppose, if I have this right or not. When people upgrade their frames, it allows them to earn more society, but the society paid to upgrade the frames, that gets burnt then, so it's gone out of supply, making society deflationary.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, go on, Carmen.
Oh, that was Congo. That was coming up to say something.
Yeah, that was me. It gets burnt and it's out of circulation.
Okay. And on the landmarks then, that was the next point on the evolution for the Ape Society. What are landmarks, and are they something that people need to buy, or how do they participate in it? I know there's a few. There's the factory, and there's the plunge and Levvy, which we'll talk about later on too. But can you give an overview of the landmarks?
So yeah, landmarks are going to be 11 different, like almost entire businesses that we're starting, and we kind of believe that each landmark is big enough to be a standalone project on its own. So far, we have 3 landmarks that have either been released or very close to releasing. The first is the factory, and that's kind of an incubator where new projects can come and get advice from us and kind of learn the ropes and before they mint. And when they go mint, a percentage of the mint goes back to the cabins, and in addition, a percentage of the mint is paid for with society, and that society is sent to either RLP or burnt. So, and that brings to another point where the frames and that section isn't really utility for society. It's more of our distribution mechanic. The actual utility for society comes from the landmarks and how you're going to use it in there. Our second landmark is our plunge stake pool, and that's kind of a different take on a stake pool, where when people enter, we have a 100% fee, and instead of sending out the typical rewards, we kind of run a lottery where up to 10 people win a majority of the rewards distributed within the plunge pool. So it allows people that, maybe want a little bit more from their staking rewards, or want to take a chance to get something bigger, to do something creative with their ADA. And then finally, as we'll discuss later, we have our lending protocol, Levvy, coming up. And then from there, 8 more coming out. So we're really excited for kind of where landmarks are going to go. And that's kind of our next iteration of Ape Society as we move forward.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, the factory one is really interesting. On that one, so is it just advice the projects get when they come to you, or can they get investment from, I don't know, the DAO or anything like that? Or how does that process work if there's a project that wants to get involved, and does it have to be an Ape Society specific project?
No, so it's for new project, either new projects or projects that are planning on minting like another collection and they already exist. So they don't have to do anything with Ape Society. In fact, we prefer it not to be. And one example is we have coming up the blockchain smokers, and what they are is they're an extremely established Web2 or even offline business that sells high-end cigars, and essentially they're creating a cigar NFT club on the chain. And we've been working together with them to help build their brand awareness of community, what they need to do in order to properly connect. And then the final stage is the mint, and that's where the revenue comes in for us. The utility comes in from the community, and that's where they get their funding to move forward. But we're trying to help people who have great ideas but maybe are lacking in a few areas to actually get from the start line to the finish line and to properly connect with the community, because we've learned so much over the last couple of years about how this all works. So we think we have a lot of valuable information to share with people that can bring a lot to the chain.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think sometimes information and advice can be far more important than actually the investment, because the right advice can save projects a lot of funds and a lot of wasted funds over the time. I've seen some very good projects completely fail just because of not having the right advice when they needed it early on. So it's great to hear that projects can come in and get it there. And I think I seen a trailer for the cigar company. There was a really well done trailer that came out there a while ago. If I find it after this, I'll put a link to it down below for anyone who wants to watch it. On the landmarks, is there anything else there that you want to get into before we'll get into Levvy Finance? We're going to do that separate because that is the biggest one that is coming up fairly soon. And for anyone interested in that, we're going to do a separate podcast on that, and the link for that will be below. And then I can share my screen showing a bit on that too. But anything else on the landmarks before we move off that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we touched a little bit on the utility of society. So the main utility is in around the landmarks and when the mint happens. Actually, do you do the mint for the projects so that you can take both payments of society and ADA?
Yes, so 5% of the mint is done in society, and then the rest is done in ADA. So they just get ADA so they can use it for their whatever they need to build. But the society is just kind of a perk for people that have society and want to get into the project. If they don't get that society.
Okay. And did you build the minting tech yourselves, or do you have a third party that does that for you?
At the moment, moving forward, since we added Nick to our team, we're going to be using probably the Saturn tech to do the actual mint. So, we have great experience there. Has joined us, so we're excited.
Okay. Some of the questions I've seen then, I went out asking different people if they had questions around the Ape Society, and one of them was around for non-ape holders, how they can get involved in the ecosystem. Can they, or do you really need an ape to be a part of everything that's going on?
Not at all. And that's the whole, that's our vision. And from the start, really, we created a very tight community between apes. Apes are apes. There's only going to be 7,000 of them, and then we have Cardmans. But landmarks, the way we're doing landmarks are open to the whole blockchain and potentially cross-chain, right? Open doors to Cardano from other blockchains. So anyone can participate in. It will be free to use. It won't be gatekeep in any way, or a token, gated in any way, or NFT gated. So anyone can really use it. And I mean, for us, it didn't make any sense to not let other people enjoy what we're building, behind an NFT or PFP. So we're opening doors to anyone that wants to participate in the ecosystem through our landmarks, and in those, like we said before, there will be standalone DeFi protocols or projects.
And actually, one other bit that I forgot to mention was Cotas, which is your passport, and that brings me on to I wanted to get into cross-chain and how you guys are trying to promote Cardano across chain, but you're not just saying that Cardano is the one that everyone has to be on. But Cotas, can you explain what they are first? I'll leave that whichever you wants to take it.
Sure. So Cotas, which is Citizens of the Ape Society, is kind of a passport concept we came up with that adds a social element to our project. So when people create a passport, they put a name, they connect an NFT, they can either get one on our current chain, or they can go over to Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, and attach an NFT and therefore their address to the passport. And then what that allows us to do is kind of track where those users are and who they are. So when they come to use our landmarks, they can earn what we call stamps. And it's kind of playing on the passport theme, where the more that they use our landmarks when they come visit, they earn stamps, which can get them further discounts on or perks within that landmark. So for example, for the stake pool, if you've staked for a certain number of epochs, you get a stamp, a level 1 stamp, a level 2 stamp, or a level 3 stamp, depending on how long you've been there, and that boosts your likeliness of winning. And for the upcoming Levvy protocol, the more you use it, the more volume you can earn stamps that will get you discounts on our fees. So, we kind of wanted to make a entry point for people that want to use and want to be active with our landmarks, and create a unique NFT that's more of a pure utility in that sense. So you can kind of think it like a savings card for like a wholesale club, like a Costco or whatever. And as you're using it throughout the year, you're getting kind of the funds back that you put in with savings from our DeFi suite of tools. And on the cross-chain part, as we kind of move along, one of our longer term goals is to have landmarks that are cross-chain. And by using these passports, we can activate the perks working on different chains at the same time. So that's going to be a very powerful feature in the future.
That would be very interesting to see, and a great way to integrate, I suppose, cross-chain within the ecosystem, to have some of the landmarks that are maybe on another chain. Now, it's, some people will say there's nothing like Cardano, that it is the best, and I think cross-chain is the future, no matter what way we look at it, and no one chain can do everything, and there are so many communities out there in the future. I don't think all that many people will care what chain they are on specifically, the newer people coming into crypto. So making the UI easier for everybody to get involved is going to be a massive turning point in crypto, I think. But for the future of Ape Society, what does the next, I suppose, 6 to 12 months look like? It's been a crazy start for the project, but what does it look like going forward?
Yeah, it depends on which aspect of the Ape Society. In terms of apes, the DAO is about to unlock. They're just finishing up legals there. And then as from the team front, we're just going to continue building out the landmarks. Like, we've already got the next few planned out. And yeah, we're just going to keep growing and showing people what we're capable of.
Okay, great. And on the landmarks, do you already have them all planned out, or do you take input from the community on what would be good? Will they all be individual dApps, or what way do you plan them out?
We definitely kind of spy on the community and see what they're talking about, but we have a pretty intensive brainstorming process. We have a dedicated channel in our Ape Force 1 server, and we probably have around 50 different landmarks in there at this point. And we probably have about 7 or 8 of them that are kind of almost set in stone, but we are flexible, and we're trying to just meet the needs of the ecosystem and do what we can to not only grow our community, but bring more liquidity, bring more activities to the entire ecosystem. And we're just always brainstorming and trying to figure out the best way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really about figuring out the biggest problems on Cardano and solving them in our way, right? Like, if Cardano wins, we win, and that's really our approach there.
Yeah, I suppose for projects looking at what you guys have built, is there any advice you'd give to projects, especially in a bear market like we're in right now? Any advice for other projects that are just starting out and trying to get a hold in the market?
Yeah, I just put some effort in. I see so many lazy people out there. They just want, they think this is an easy ride, to get some funds and get reach schemes. Yeah, just put some effort in, and build, and your time will come. We had some troubled times as well, especially in the beginning, right? And roughly across the whole 2 years, we've been through a lot of FUD, a continuous bear market, but we've gone through, and we got to the number one just by working, showing up, keep building, and eventually happened. I mean, we got to the top. So yeah, just never give up and keep pushing. Another cycle will come, your time will come. So yeah, keep going.
Okay, and I'm going to finish up with the last question I have, and it's more general on NFTs. What do you see the future for NFTs? Will we get more NFT seasons, or do NFTs now have to have utility, or what's your own thoughts on the NFT scene going forward?
Yeah, I think about this question a lot. Nobody knows the future. I definitely see more NFT cycles for sure. I think NFTs have a huge future as our entire lives essentially become more and more online and digital. I just don't understand how digital collectibles can't become huge, right? So yeah, especially seeing as we're almost entirely, not entirely, but 80% a utility project. I say that because I love our art. There's many people that collect it for that. I just don't see digital collectibles going away. I see them only becoming bigger and bigger. Look at trading cards or Pokemon cards, etc. in the physical world. The whole digital nomad narrative, it's it's just getting bigger. Like people are more and more online, especially now with Apple releasing this Black Mirror type headset. I think the future is very bright.
Great. Well, look, as I said earlier, we are going to have a dedicated video on Levvy Finance, which will probably have been out before this. So the link for that one will be down below for anyone who's finding this one first and wants to find out more on what's happening with that landmark and DApp. Any closing thoughts from any of you guys before we finish this one out?
My one thing would be, if you haven't had the exposure to our community and maybe you're a little confused by what we do or who we are, I would encourage you to jump in our Discord and just see how active and supportive our community is of one another, how focused that we and the rest of the community are on building, and just to experience what it's like in there. It's very unique, and I really urge people to check that out.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, like the vast majority of Cardano holders are just holding Cardano, or some of them are in just DeFi, and do exactly what Cardman is saying, and you'll see that these are not just JPEGs of apes or monkeys, right? Like it's so much more than this. So definitely just get in there and get to know the community, and I think you'll be really surprised. Any
closing thoughts from you, Matasa?
No, I completely agree. Not really. Just have it a go. I mean, if you're completely unfamiliar, we have a lot of documents on us explaining what we are, what we do, what our vision is. Just take 5 minutes and check us out. And we empower a lot of other communities as well. So from us, you will learn a lot of the NFT space in Cardano, and I don't think you will regret, because this is, and once you're drawn in, I mean, it's hard to get out. So, proceed with care.
Yeah, look, congratulations for what you guys have built. It's a phenomenal ecosystem. I won't even say just NFT project at this point, and keep building. I'm definitely going to be following a lot closer going forward, and we'll probably become a lot more active out there. Anyone watching, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know if you want to see more audio-only podcasts like this going forward. I do appreciate it. Any questions, ask them down below as well. And maybe in 2-3 months' time, guys, we could do a follow-up to see where the project is at and how things are going at that point. So thanks very much. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon.